Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 157 of Is This Thing Working? Good morning, Denise. How's it going?
It's going. It's going. That's all I'm going to say, because we have a hurricane on top of us and we're sitting here recording the show, and we're going to do the very best we can before the electricity goes out.
Yep.
I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't, and am praying for the million of people without electricity right now.
Well, then let's just agree on this. If the power goes out, wherever the power went out, that's our show for today, and we're still going to put it out. What do you think?
I like that.
I like
hey,
that
man,
too,
because this
man.
will be the hurricane show.
But either way, as everybody knows, man, the hurricane is rolling through, man. And right now, we've had some here in East Texas. We've had some pretty good rain, but not a lot of wind action yet. They predicted 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts here. So far, just sitting in here, it doesn't sound like we've heard a whole lot of it yet, but
No, I keep going out there and checking, and it's just rain, and it's coming straight down.
yeah.
So, I mean, but we haven't gotten to the center
Right. And
yet.
and,
We're still on the outer band, so
yeah,
who knows?
and believe me, we're not downplaying it, because we know that everybody around us, those that are closer to the center, those that are in that rotation, you guys are suffering.
Yes.
And we
and
pray,
are without electricity right
yeah,
now. What they
and-
say,
and we pray for you.
over 1 million people are without power right now.
Yep. And we're praying for all of you guys, man. Just stay safe.
1 minute at a time.
Yep. Use good judgment, and don't get out into it if you don't need to. We would like to welcome our new sponsor to Is This Thing Working? So help us welcome Cornbread Hemp. Their mission is to draw on Kentucky's 250-year legacy of growing hemp, as well as the state's unique climate and soil, to manufacture the highest quality cannabis products available in America. They proudly offer full-spectrum, USDA organic CBD products with up to 2 milligrams of THC per serving. Their plants are grown in what's known as the Bluegrass Basin, which produces the highest quality hemp alongside the best bourbon and fastest racehorses. Cornbread Hemp is one of the very few, if not only, CBD brands in America who exclusively use the hemp flower to create their CBD extract, called Flower Only CBD, and they want the world to know. In a side-by-side comparison to a market leader, Cornbread Hemp checks all the boxes. They are USDA certified organic, flower only extracted, full spectrum, free of artificial colors and preservatives, and they are third-party lab tested.
Cornbread Hemp supports me on my wellness journey. I love Cornbread Hemp gummies. I especially enjoy the watermelon gummies. After work, when I feel overwhelmed, I take a gummy and I go for a relaxing and calming swim. So make sure you get you some Cornbread Hemp gummies. I take them daily. So whether you choose to take Cornbread Hemp gummies, oils, lotion, or whatever you choose, take them daily and discover a delicious way to improve your health and well-being. And if you're having problems with winding down for the day, try out Cornbread Hemp Sleep Gummies or the lotion, which I use every night to soothe my joint discomfort. Please check out Cornbread Hemp by going to cornbreadhemp.com right now for 30% off your initial purchase of any products on the website. Again, go to cornbreadhemp.com and use promo code ITTW for this special offer. Remember, you get 30% off, promo code ITTW. And again, that's promo code ITTW
To save 30% off your initial order.
at cornbreadhemp.com.
Well, hey, before we start this show today, our Hurricane Party show, before we start it, we want to state these are our opinions and they're our assertions. And if you agree with us, you tell your friends and share the show. And if you don't agree with us,
You tell your friends and share the show. And also, stomp that like button and please follow or subscribe wherever you see the name Is This Thing Working? Oh, and by the way, I made Is This Thing Working a X page. So y'all look for it and follow everywhere on podcasts, Apple and Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcast, and download the Rumble app so you can, because that's where we are mainly, so you can follow the show and you will receive instant notifications when we go live Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Hey, and just remember this too. Since we've started the Is This Thing Working X page, we will be following the people that we follow individually. So get ready. Here we come. Now you know who we are. Follow us back, man.
Please
follow us back. I guarantee you'll enjoy our content.
We're excited because we are growing every single day. Every time I look at my numbers, I go, wow. But anyway, we got call to action first from Steve Bannon. You know, everybody, it's 117 days till Steve Bannon from the War Room gets out of prison. He is a political prisoner. And while he's in prison, he gets all kinds of attacks because he can't speak for himself right now. So we are here to do that for him. This is part of our Trump watch. Guess what happened this weekend? Lincoln Project's despicable attack on Steve Bannon. I just can't imagine how horrible some people just can be.
I seen the video too, and I want to tell you something. Not even the fact that they're horrible, but that they sound immature, they sound hateful. And again, I always keep referring back to the leftists. To me, they act like little kids that when they don't get their way, they fold their arms, stomp their feet, and scream and cry. And all they know to do is insult and do crap like that right there to people, man.
Yes.
Look, I want to tell you something. In all of this 4 years that we have went through Joe Biden, and people have laughed at the man for falling, or they've laughed at him for this, or laughed at him for that, none of that ever reaches the level of what this did.
No, none of it. And Harnwell, who is hosting the War Room, you know, he had this to say. He said, this is highly, highly disreputable outfit. And this talking about the Lincoln Project. He says, I think that would be a charitable way of saying it. I have far less charitable, more colorful things to say off camera about them. They created this new advertisement. They are not just mocking Steve Bannon, but essentially taunting him and saying that they hope that he gets raped in prison. If I understand the ad.
Yeah, he goes on to say, I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying there. And you know, if there are any boundaries or any sense of ethics or anything remotely approximating ethics when it comes to politics in the year 2024, this is over that line. Man, I'm telling you, and it is. I would not wish my worst political enemies to be raped. I would never in a million years think or let alone produce a video to that effect against Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, you name it. None of these people. There are some lines you do not cross, and that's the whole point of being the news. And that's what Hammer told to Ben Hardwell on the War Room the other day.
Yes, and that's awful. That's a red line.
Yeah, and we're not, normally we would play some audio from video like that. We're not going to do that.
We're not going to give it any play.
Just not going to do it, man.
They've been exposed and they are disgusting, but we've known this for a long time. The Lincoln Project, when President Trump was running in 2020, did the same crap. And you know what? They got hauled into jail for being pedophiles, and all kinds of scandals happened around the Lincoln Project. So we actually think they're irrelevant, but that was a red line. On to Trump Watch, though.
There we go.
You know, the first thing I saw this morning on President Trump's True Social was this: Fox News, stop putting on the enemy. He is just like us. We can't stand Fox News either. We watch it for content so we can bring you, you know, the narrative and bust their narrative most of the time, and MSNBC and all of those.
What do a lot of people say? Fox News is news for stupid people.
It really is. I mean, half the time they lose me or my mind wanders because, you know. But President Trump will be on Hannity tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern for his first interview since the debate.
What's the subject that he talks about tonight? Hopefully will be Agenda 47. We've talked about this on our show in the past, about President Trump's Agenda 47. We've also introduced to you Project 25 in episode 59. Go back and listen to it if you like. We're going to contrast the two for you. But before we do, I want to say, from Denise and me, Is This Thing Working? When we first come out with Agenda 47, we told you that we would be going over items in that agenda
on a regular basis.
But hey, man, it's like anything else. You know, if you go to plan to do something, things break wide open, and they did on the political scene and in the political news scene. And
also at the time, a lot of court cases were going on with President Trump, and that took up a lot of breathing room. Now we're all in.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. That was about the time that the hush money trial began. That was at the time we began to see all of the antics of Alvin Bragg, Judge Juan Mershon. We also had the immunity case with Jack Smith rolling along pretty steady right there. Oh, good Lord.
The Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court. We just had found out like a week before that even about the NGOs at the Darien Gap and how that they're registering people to vote and how they're just running people into our country. So anyway, long story short, that's our mea culpa.
But we are going to fix that today, because the very first Agenda 47 on his website, which is where we're going to start. So once again, we're going to start with being informed about President Trump's Agenda 47. And we will go over these policy agendas for you, starting with the very first one on his website, which is www.donaldjtrump.com/Agenda 47. You can go there and become informed. But the very first one that we want to speak of today is Free Speech Policy Initiative, which he posted this on his website on December 15th, 2022. And he says in here, he says, if we don't have free speech, then we don't have a free country. And yes, we all know this, right? We don't. And the courts are not helping and so we need to really get in there and figure out a way that we can bring back free speech. It's as simple as that, he says. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down.
He's exactly right.
And he says, I am announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans.
Let me ask you and point this out right here. We've watched President Biden be told by the Supreme Court, hey, there are things you can't do. And he goes on and he does them anyway. Then we see Murphy versus Missouri, and we see the court side with President Biden on the censorship things. Okay, we roll into 25 and Agenda 47 is enacted, and he starts putting the clamp down on government coercion of big tech, on government influence of big tech. What's to stop big tech from just doing like they done the first go round and just take it upon themselves to do these things? Well, I mean, what's to stop them, and how are we going to...
Nothing is going to stop them, because they have that protection that is, and so they can do whatever they want on their platforms. So I don't know if maybe he's talking about taking care of the problem we have with big tech.
Section 230? Yep.
Yes.
Section 230. I hope that that's where we're going with this.
But he says the censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed. What will you say by that? I mean...
Then that would mean Section 230 is fixing to be revamped, correct? Or
yes, and here's a lot of investigations. He said he will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230 to get big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. We should require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content, such as child exploitation and promoting terrorism, while dramatically curtailing the power of arbitrarily restricted lawful speech.
Right. He also says that he's going to order the DOJ to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election laws, security laws, and antitrust laws. A big one, the Hatch Act, and a host of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses. And to assist in this, he says, I'm going to urge House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters, and we have to do this right now, to the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and to every Silicon Valley tech giant, ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship.
You know, and I can remember Steve Bannon also on his show has said this many, many times. Better preserve your information. Preserve it now. You hear it. It's alive. You know, he's always saying this.
Archive things you've got.
And the thing about all this is the Democrats don't listen to this. They will destroy it. The January 6th committee, they destroyed all evidence. They destroyed all pertinent evidence. I mean,
30,000 emails.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, which needs to continue to be brought up more and more, because you know what? She wasn't a president.
Exactly.
So she needs to. We're talking about Hillary Clinton, if you're unsure.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, there again, too, if you go to the documents case and how they're trying to hammer all this down on President Trump in this documents case, nobody has ever, they bring up the fact that, oh, well, we went, quote unquote, raided Joe Biden's house.
No, they did not.
Well, okay, quote unquote,
okay.
they raided.
Okay. Sorry.
They raided them. But the thing is, are you looking at Joe Biden's documents that he had when he was senator or vice president? Because you continue to not bring up the fact that just like Hillary, Joe Biden had no legal means or rights to have classified information. That's against the law. There's not a gray area there.
I know, but do you think that maybe he's forcing, and maybe Jill Biden also is forcing himself to stay in this race because of this issues, because of all of the crime that he's committed? Do you think also that he will pardon himself?
Can he? Is that legal?
I don't know.
I don't think that's legal.
He keeps saying that he's not going to pardon Hunter, but I don't believe that. Before he leaves office, he will.
No, anything Joe Biden says is a lie. You know he's going to pardon Hunter. Remember what we've always said, their accusations are their confessions, always. So if he says, I'm not going to pardon Hunter Biden, I'd lay odds that'd be the very first one. But the thing is, I guess, and we kind of got off going around this, Project 2025 has been in the news a lot, especially since Friday. It become pretty hot now all of a sudden. Everybody is like, whoa, can't do it.
I know. I keep seeing these memes out there about 2025 is going to turn women into handmaid's tales. What the heck?
All kinds of crap like that.
I mean, really, they've gone off the rails like they always do.
Yep. So we've gave you a few things concerning Agenda 47, and let's understand what Project 2025 truly is. Project 2025 came out before President Trump became a nominee. It was already in the works before he decided to run.
Yes.
Okay, so Project 2025 is more about a party referendum and an agenda than it is President Trump's personal agenda. Everybody, President Trump's personal agenda is Agenda 47. That's his platform. Not Project 2025. Project 2025 is a conservative coalition's plan for a future Republican presidential administration. So it doesn't matter if it was President Donald J. Trump or if it was President Mickey Mouse. Project 2025 was there for the Republican candidate, regardless of who he was going to be.
And they've been working on this for several years. I can remember way back in 22, Mr. Roberts came out talking about it at a Heritage Foundation organization
exactly
like meeting,
exactly,
meetup or something. And there are videos everywhere of him talking about this.
Exactly.
You know, and it was to Project 2025 is a plan to reshape the executive branch of the U.S. federal government.
Exactly.
In the event of a Republican victory in the 2024 U.S. presidential election. That's all it is, to reshape the executive branch.
And what
And they hate that so much.
and what that yes, and what that means by reshaping the executive branch is not that we're going to jump on and have all these new platform ideas and these new agendas and we're going to call them President Trump's agenda. No, Project 2025 is to reshape the administration, to reshape the staffers, the bureaucrats, those that are there in those departments. Get
That
rid of
have their own agenda.
and influence. Exactly correct.
They have a lot of influence. They've been there a long time influencing policy.
And this has been our biggest problem now since the Obama administration, because Obama's the one that started all that.
Obama has loyalists.
That's right. But between the Bush loyalists and the Obama loyalists, the Bush loyalists that hung around and then the Obama loyalists that he moved in during his 2 terms, and they infiltrated our system and they got into all of our bureaucracies, and they're in there promoting their own leftist, Marxist, fascist ideas, and they're putting all that ideology into our government. Those are the people that Project 2025 is going to work together to pinpoint those people and remove them and get them out. They've infiltrated our government to the point that now we have what we have today. And that has got to stop. It's got to be done. And this is what scares them. This is why they're coming out.
It does scare them. And another thing to point out here is that the Democrats are terrified of this happening because, see, the Democrats have done this every election.
Sure.
They have made a Democrat policy just like Project 2025. Oh, just the name sounds so, but you have to remember also is when you first get elected president, you have 5,000 people you need to bring with you. Okay, so when President Trump went in, he didn't have all those people behind him. He did go in blind. He didn't know the rules, for one thing. Even when he was being elected in 2016, he didn't know the rules for that.
And he put his trust into some people that he shouldn't have, and they stabbed him in the back.
Yes, and all of his policies that he got through several, but it was a fight every single way. And every single day it was a fight. And Nancy Pelosi and everyone was against him and did everything they could. Well, they impeached the man twice, Russia.
Yep.
So but the Heritage Foundation and 110 other conservative organizations have come together and made conservative policy recommendations when the party takes the White House.
Exactly. Their initiative, wrap this part up, their initiative aims to be ready with conservative policy recommendations when the party retakes the White House, what we've been talking about. They're going to vet people, train personnel that can populate future administrations so that we don't get infiltrated again. But then here's Snopes' spin.
Let's hear it.
The sweeping effort, this is their spin. The sweeping effort centers on a roughly 1,000-page document that gives executive branch more power, reverses Biden-era policies, and specifies numerous department-level changes. That's true.
It is true.
Okay, here we go. People across the political spectrum fear such actions are precursors to authoritarianism and have voiced concerns over the proposal's recommendations to reverse protections for LGBTQ plus people, limit abortion access, stop federal efforts to mitigate climate change, and even more. That's their spin.
That's their spin. That's all they care about.
That's
really,
their spin.
Their agenda. Yes, but this project is to, say, hey, your agenda sucks.
Yep.
It does. And you know what? It doesn't benefit the American people. None of them benefit the American people, including the LGBTQ people. And if you think so, there's something wrong with you because all they've done is make fools of you. That's all they've done.
Yep.
Propagandized you.
Project 2025 is a pro-Trump agenda, but it's not a Trump agenda. When you say it's a pro-Trump agenda, it's a pro-Republican agenda. It's not a Trump agenda. Trump's agenda is Agenda 47. Look at it, read it, learn it.
Spread the news.
Transform your business with Shopify, the leading e-commerce platform designed for entrepreneurs of all levels. Shopify makes it easy to create a stunning online store with customizable templates and a user-friendly interface. Manage your inventory with processed payments and track your sales, all from one seamless dashboard. With built-in search engine optimization and marketing tools, you can reach more customers and grow your business faster. Plus, Shopify's secure and reliable hosting ensures your site is always up and running, backed by 24/7 customer support. Join over 1 million businesses worldwide who trust Shopify to power their online stores. Start your free 14-day trial today at Shopify.com and see how easy it is to sell online, in-store, and everywhere in between. Take the next step toward e-commerce success with Shopify.
Please click that link below, and thank you so much for supporting our sponsors.
And so here we go. We spent the first half of the show talking about President Trump. Let's talk about the other half now, which is President Biden. And this was breaking about an hour ago on MSNBC on Mika and Joe, the Morning Slow.
Morning Mika show,
yep,
like
the morning,
Bannon would say.
Yep. Bongino calls it the Morning Slow. Both are appropriate.
They are.
Yep. But it says breaking. Joe Biden dares Democrats to try to replace him at the convention. Here we go. This is from the show this morning.
The American public is not going to move away from me as an average voter. And again, I'm here for two reasons, pal. One, to rebuild the economy for hardworking middle-class people, give everybody a shot, just a straight shot. Everybody gets a fair chance, number one. Number two, remember all this talk about how I don't have the black support? Come on, give me a break. Come with me. Watch. I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce the president. Challenge me at the convention.
Man,
Come on, man.
It certainly sounds like there's a crack in the Democrat Party. I thought they were always together for everything, you know?
Joe
my
says,
gosh.
Joe says, y'all get ready. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he sounded a little angry this morning, didn't he? He put out a letter, too. It's like 2 pages long. I can't even read it. It's so much
Hey, and
gibberish.
this all come out before 10 o'clock in the morning, man.
I know.
10 to 4 is his working hours.
I know. He says in this letter, he says, I can respond to all by saying clearly and unequivocally, I wouldn't be running again if I did not absolutely believe I was the best person to beat Donald Trump in 2024. Every time I see anything that they say, which you know someone else wrote this, he didn't write this.
Exactly.
He didn't say any of these words.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, if I've ever agreed with him at all, ever, which I never have, but at least with this next statement in this letter, where can you find this letter?
I'm sorry, I found it on X under his POTUS, at POTUS, P-O-T-U-S. You can go on X and find the letter. He put it out first thing this morning before 10 o'clock.
And so here, after he said that, what Denise said about he's the only person that can beat Trump 24, he said, we had a Democratic nomination process and the voters have spoken clearly and decisively. I've received over 14 million votes, 87% of the votes cast across the entire nominating process. I have nearly 3,900 delegates, I don't know about that, making me the presumptive nominee of our party by a wide margin. Does he have really 3,900
Yes, he
delegates?
does.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Well,
Yeah,
you know how it is.
roughly.
You can't trust half of what he says.
You can't trust what he says, and I could debunk all this kind of stuff because there was no one else running against him.
Exactly, and that's what he points out. This was a process open to anyone who wanted to run. Only 3 people chose to challenge me. One fared so badly that he left the primaries to run as an independent, talking about RFK. Another attacked me for being too old and was soundly defeated. The voters of the Democrat Party have voted. They have chosen me to be the nominee of their party. It's going to kill me, but Joe Biden, damn, I agree with you.
Yeah. And it is what it is. He is right there. He is the nominee. And I'm sorry, but if that party, which he's talking about the elites, and they are there, and he is one of them, by the way, you know, they're going to try to kick him out because of their down ballot races. No one wants to vote for him or care about him now. But after that debate, the only one that cares is him and his staff, I guess.
And the Democrat Party House of Representatives and the Democrat Party senators are all looking at this and going, man, he's going to kill my candidacy. He's going to hurt my chances to run. And they're wanting to kick him out.
Well, you know, they were all supposed to come together and have this Zoom meeting or some meeting or whatever with him. He canceled that.
Good.
Yeah, he's like,
Good.
no.
Good.
And then he puts out this letter. That's where this letter came from, actually.
Good.
You know, because of all of that. So we're going to see how that turns out. But in the interim, the Democrats, well, okay, let me start over. In the interim, our Congress is back in business today. So as you can tell, everything's getting wild again. And over the weekend, Mike Lee and, you know, Mike Johnson and everybody's talking about how they need to pass this SAVE Act right when they get back because our elections are horrible and illegals are going to be voting in our elections because we have discovered that they are getting IDs.
Yeah.
They're getting Social Security numbers and IDs and work release and everything. So they have the IDs to register to vote. So Democrats, they're up to their old games. They're whipping against the GOP's latest election crackdown.
Yep. And this comes from Axios. And Axios always does this little thing in their articles, why it matters, you know, what it means. So Axios comes out, why it matters. House Republicans have made non-citizen voting in federal elections for which there is no evidence of a widespread phenomenon, a marquee issue going into the 24 campaign. Why? House Speaker Mike Johnson, largely ignoring House Democrats' drama this week, has posted on X about non-citizen voting multiple times since Wednesday. State of play, what this means. The House is set to vote next week on the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, like Denise said, which is going to require documentary proof of the United States citizenship to vote in these elections.
They could include a passport, a photo ID card that proves a voter was born in the U.S., or another form of ID along with supporting documentation such as a birth certificate, the bill says. But how could they do that? And I guess why that caught me was, how can they do that now? Now, doing something like that in the past where we marked on a box somewhere that we are U.S. citizens was one thing, but what we would all have to get new IDs.
Right.
Do you think that's... What do you think about that? I mean...
That the House Democrats are trying to go against this? Think about this. This is why it's so ridiculous, man. If you walk into a bank and you go, hey, I'm John Brown, and I want to open an account, what's the first thing that they're going to ask you for?
An ID.
Damn straight.
Yeah, but they don't ask you if you're a U.S. citizen.
If you,
that's the point I'm talking about,
right.
The U.S. citizen part.
Right. So then why don't they take and give you an ID then, but it not be an American ID? It be a foreign national ID. I don't mind you not having a U.S. ID, but if you have a foreign ID, at least we've got some kind of reference. You know what I mean? But
yes.
For you to just walk in here like we've talked about the U.S. Title 18, where they just jump in there and go, well, I believe I'm an American citizen. So
that's what they're wanting to change.
Yeah.
That's part of what they're wanting to change is those vague
explanations.
Yeah, vague words in bills that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, then let's do it. I'm down for that.
You know, and this legislation would also require non-citizens to be removed from voter registration rolls, require election officials to ask voter registration applicants for proof of citizenship, and open them up to legal consequences if they do not.
Yep.
Well, you know, you need to be a U.S. citizen to vote in American elections.
And while we're on the subject of voting, Before we close, this is what I got to say to each and every one of you out there, especially any of you that are Democrat voters. If you listen to us, God bless you. I'm glad you're here. Listen to us. But let me tell you something. The fact that Joe Biden ran in the primaries against other people, the fact that you Democrat voters voted for him in those primaries, the fact that he became the nominee for the Democrat Party, and now all of a sudden, when the Democrat senators and representatives figure out, oh shit, I might lose my seat, let's kick him out. No, sir. Dem voters, don't let them do to you what happened to us in 2020. Don't let them do to you in 24 what they done to us in 20. Don't let them steal your vote.
Is this thing working?
Rise up. Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
and we'll see you next time.
We're out.